This conference will now be recorded.
Hi all, welcome to the session. Please let me know once you can see my screen.
Yes, Kumar, it's visible.
Okay, that's great.
Did you check yesterday videos that is there
I
anything
did not get the access, but
again?
I checked it with some people who know. So I got to know that in between there is one or two words. Okay, while speaking now, I think there
Yeah,
are some words. I think one or two words are missing, and
yeah,
they told me it's very minor. It's not major. Okay, so
yeah.
I need to check that video back again.
Again, this time also this is happening. I don't know why this is happening. What's the reason?
Because they actually I checked with them. Okay, if it
Uh-huh.
is the whole lot of words now, then
Uh-huh.
I can check back. Okay, I asked them for the access, but I did not get the access yet. So once I get the access to the videos now, then I will have a look. And one
I
more
will.
thing is that
Yeah,
I saw the videos of previous batches. Okay, where I
yeah,
have
yeah.
used the same headset. And if you want, I can play one of them now. Just a
That would
second.
be better quality, I think. I don't know. Something
Just
is
a second.
happening.
I would like to know. Yeah, just a second. Let us see. I think I should have one of them. Let me play it. Uh, so that we will get to know whether you got the same quality or is still in there. Can you hear this?
It's your live voice, not this audio's voice, not the recording voice, I think.
Did you find any difference or is it same?
No, Kumar, we are only able to hear your live voice, not the recorded voice. I mean,
Oh,
the
one
recording.
second. Let me change it. Just a second. You can say, I'm taking input to the controller element. We have a business code embed. This
No,
helps
Kumar,
to
this is
assign
not
input
also
from
good. I don't know, because of recording or whatever it is.
okay, because this was recorded, this belongs to the previous batch. Okay, which is why I don't know why that is happening, but I will also check the video. I will also check the video and then I will let you know. Okay. Yeah.
Can I have
So,
your email ID?
huh?
Can I have your email
My email
ID?
ID? Yeah, why not?
Yeah, just I will share the videos with you. That's it. Nothing else.
Okay, you share with me, or you can ping me on WhatsApp. Yeah, this is my WhatsApp number.
Okay.
Admin, hi
Yeah.
Kumar, would you please share product Visual Studio because I try to find but not. Hey, it's not the compliance. Yeah, there will be an issue if I share something. Product keys should not be.
I will share the clip of the recording from the last to last batch or 2 years back, 2 years back batch, and
Uh,
this one, the clip of the
no,
current
that
batch.
one is not needed because One thing is that last batch, 2 years back in the sense, when exactly?
When Kumar was teaching us, and then you came for some installation part in between.
Is it live or
Yeah, online only. Na?
okay? It's also online session. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
online
share
session.
that and share this with me. I will share. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Now let's begin the session. So I have set up everything, and today we are going to start with the project. So might be I can see 11 people here. So few of the people might not know how to create a model or something like that. You might have missed. So you can see that today. Okay. I will go a bit faster while creating the model, but you will see it in detail. How to do it. Okay. Just a second. It's loading. We will create the same thing. Today, what we will do is we will create a model for Amazon, and then we will create the tables and entities and everything, and we will see how to work. I am waiting for Visual Studio to load. Just a second.
Hello, Kumar. Good morning.
Yep.
Actually, regarding product key, I didn't get your you told.
Can you come again?
Sorry.
Can you come again? I did not get you.
Regarding product key, I tried to find, but I'm not getting the proper. It's not authenticating. Visual Studio. Hello.
Yeah. Just a second.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, just give me a second. It seems like my Visual Studio is not loading.
Hi all. Are you able to Get the audio because I'm not
Hey,
getting
hey,
audio.
I'm not speaking. I'm not speaking.
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
trying to check. Okay. Because
Sorry.
the problem was that here you can see there are two versions of Visual Studio. Unfortunately, my Visual Studio 2015 is not getting open. Okay.
Okay, okay.
There should be some specific reason for that. I'm checking because that needs to load. Without that, we can't continue the session. Just a second. Okay, let me try one more thing. Possible I will show you as well. There will be a file called which is for extension. Okay, one second. If you want to work with Visual Studio 2019, you can also work with Visual Studio 2019, but there should be one extension file. I plan to show that, but unfortunately one is not. Okay, here the problem is with user data. Okay, after resetting the user data, the Visual Studio got open. So please remember, you might also get similar kind of issue. I tried to reset only settings, but it did not work. If I reset the entire user data, and I don't know your name. I need to call you as admin. Okay, if you can put your name, that would be good. So whatever you need to do is search for Visual Studio 2015 product key in the Google. Okay, at the first place you will get the product key. The first link itself will have it. Okay, you can try it now itself. If you don't get, let me know. I'll give you. You can search for the Visual Studio Professional 2015 product key. And I open it. Okay, let me connect to the source control. What is the URL here? I forgot. Is it SK D365 or D265 Yeah, this is the one. Okay, done. We are connected with our account. So what is the next step? Let's create a model. So how to create a model? Do anyone remember?
Go to Dynamics 365, create a model.
And then
Then I think one pop-up will come and it will ask for details. You need to fill it.
okay. Just a second, the pop is loading. These things I can't help here because for the first time, everything will take time in Dynamics 365. If it is after 1 or 2 days now, it will be faster, don't worry. Because it should load a lot of things. So to load that, it will obviously take time. Okay, so here I'm creating a model name as Amazon model publisher. I give Kumar, and you can see I can take any layer. I'm taking back layer here. Model description. And here I'm taking back layer. That's up to you. You can take any layer you want. Next. So here I need to use create new package because I want to build everything new. Okay. Because the next, I'm selecting only application platform now for now. Select next, create a new project and make this default for new projects and click on finish button. It will ask me to create a new Visual Studio project.
So, Kumar, like layer selection will not make any difference, like because you are saying.
Because it depends on for whom you are developing. If you are developing a product for a vendor, then you need to develop in a web layer. If you are developing a product and you want to resell it from your end, then you need to develop in ISV layer. If you are developing a solution, you can develop in either solution or customer layer. Okay, because solution they will not loss. There is a different licensing for each and every layer.
Okay.
Okay, finance and operations, and here you can see there are two more projects. Okay, so when you want to develop a best practice rule, okay, for example, already there are a lot of best practice rules available in Dynamics 365, but let's say, for example, your company has a restriction. Okay, they want to develop additional best practices. If you ask me the example, whenever I develop the code, the piece of code to 20 lines. Okay, there is something called cyclometric complexity. I don't know whether you have heard about it or not. It is used to define the number of conditions in your code. The more number of conditions in a single method, the complexity or readability of the method will get decreased. So obviously what we need to do? We need to limit the code that we are writing in each method to a set of lines. Okay, if you want to do that, there is no best practice rule to do that in Dynamics 365. So what you need to do? You need to create a new best practice rule. If you want to do that, then you need to select the best practice rules project and then you can deploy it. Okay, and the second one is developer tools adding. Developer tools adding. Now currently, if you want to create an extension for a table, you can right click and create an extension. If you want to create an extension for a class, you can't right click and create an extension. And if you want to create an extension class for a table or a form, there is nothing like that. You need to create a new class and then you need to create extension of, and then you need to write all that stuff. Instead of that, if you want to develop a add-in, if you right click on the table, along with create extension, you want to get create extension class. Okay, create extension class. Then you need to develop an add-in. If you want to do that, you can develop an add-in. Similarly, if you want to create a find method and exist method in a table, okay, like this, if you want to do some default things to make the things easier, we will create add-ins. Developer tools add-ins. Okay. Now I will call this project as Amazon SNS Shopping Management System. Select OK button. It will create a new project for me. So now I want to work with one table today, and then we will go with other tables, because for this already I have mapped all the entities. Okay. So before creating any element in the project, go to projects, organize project elements by type. Please select this, select OK button, and then you can go to properties. Here you can see synchronize database on build, set it to true, apply, OK. Okay. Now here click on the add button, new item. Go to data types, and then edit a string. I will call this as AMA. Add button. Okay, here. Now we got to the AMA city, and let me create one label file. Click on the new item, and then labels and resources, a label file. I will call this as add button. It will create a new label file for us. Okay, in the wizard, we need to select the languages. And please also check this from your end, because in this version I am seeing that it is a bit slow in the development environment, because the labels, this one should load very easily. Yeah? Should not take more amount of time. Okay. So here, modify the label file ID, and I will use only AMA. That should be enough. And then select the next button. Select the next button, and I want to select two more languages. One is Hindi, and the other one is Telugu. That should be enough. Select next button. Finish. Now it will create three label files for us, one for each language. Done. Okay. Now later on we will define labels here. Now I want to hard code the stuff. Go to properties, and update the string size to 60 characters. As we have seen here, it is 60 characters. And the next step, we have the label. I am calling it as city. Okay? So labels can be defined in different places. Labels can be defined in different places. The different places are, we can define labels at the form field level. We can define at the label at label field level. We can define at the EDT level. Okay. So there is a significance. I will explain about the significance of defining the labels in different places later on. Okay. Now you can see I have hard coded it. I did not define any label. Okay. Now I am creating one more entity string. Click on the new item, and then data types, and then entity string. Let me call this as AMA country. Add properties. You can define the string size to 16. You can define the label to country. And similarly, now actually there is one more thing that you can do, because all these editors are strings. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, street and district. So what we can do is we can simply duplicate this. That duplication you will not find everywhere. You can see here there is no duplicate option. If I select this, there is no duplicate option. Now, if I go to view and then application explorer, and if I select Amazon here, data types, extended data types, here if I right click, I will have the duplicate option. Okay, duplicate in project. If you want to use this, you can use this as well. It will duplicate the extended data type in our project. Okay. Similarly, if you want to duplicate one more, click on duplicate in project. Okay. But you can see the difference. Here it has given reality strengths. Here it has given extended data types. I think they might take this later on. Now we can go to the properties. Properties, and you can't change the name from here. Okay, this is one more thing that we need to remember. Whereas in AX 2012, we'll go to properties and we can directly change the name, but here you can't do that. But whereas you can change the label and string size. Now let's check it. String 60. Here, and the size is 60. To change the name, you need to rename it from here. And now this is the other one. You can go to properties. This will be, and the size is 60. Now you can rename, and you can call this as okay. Now we are done with the string utilities. Now let me create the next. And here this time I'm taking the integer as the utility, and I will call this as AMA zip code. And even sometimes I saw the developers who will modify directly in the file as well. You can do that, but that is not the best practice. Now we can go to the properties of the zip code. Here I am setting up the label. You can see there are a lot of properties here as well. Okay. Now, if I go to AMA district, you can see the behavior properties and then the data properties. These are same. Configuration key, country region codes, extents, form here, is obsolete, name, reference table, tags. And here as well, configuration key. So now, what is configuration key? What is configuration? See here, let's say you are an ISV and your ISV has multiple options. Okay, multiple modules, I can say. You have inventory management system, utility management system, and like this, let's say you have multiple modules. You want to enable or disable the entire module. You want to enable or disable the entire module. So how to do that? To do that, we will be using config. Okay. So before beginning the project, what we will do is we will create a configuration key, and then we will use this configuration key across all the objects of the AOT that belongs to specific requirement. Okay, this is at the high level. Okay, at the module. Now, few scenarios. Let's say if it is Dasara or Christmas, we will have discount. Okay, we will have discounts, special discounts. If you want to enable or disable these specific discounts only during this time, okay, then what we will do? We will create few AOT objects which are relevant to the discount, and then we will enable or disable the configuration key depending upon the time. How to do that? To do that, what we need to do is, if you log on to Dynamics AX environment, in the system administration, we will have licenses. There we can do this. And if it is the production environment, okay, production environment. In case of AX 2012, we can do this directly. Okay. In case of AX 2012, we can do it any point of time. Whereas coming from Dynamics 365, if you want to do this, then what you need to do? You need to set the environment in maintenance mode. Okay, you can see here. This maintenance mode can be set up from LCS, or if you want to do this in your environment, you need to use the PowerShell script. There will be a PowerShell script to set up environment in the maintenance mode. We can set it up. Okay. Now you can see these are the configuration keys that we have. Similarly, what we can do is we can define one more configuration key. To create that configuration key, you need to again right click on the project, click on the add button, new item. Here you can see configuration, we have the configuration. If you have multiple configuration keys, then you need to group them up. Okay, for example, I told you here, for jewelry management system, you have defined one configuration key, and you want to define additional configuration key for discounts or special season. So what you need to do? You need to define multiple configuration keys for a single module. So at that point, what we will do is we will create a configuration key group, jewelry management system. In that, we will create multiple configuration keys. And if you see on the front end, you can see here, public sector is the configuration key group, and these are the configuration keys. Questionnaire 1 is the configuration key group, and questionnaire 2 is the configuration. So if you want to define the group, you can define this. Okay. Now I am defining a configuration key. I will call this configuration key as, I'm simply giving the name as Amazon key, or you can use whatever you want. Click on the add button, and if you go to the properties of the configuration key, you can see can be enabled. So what is the purpose of this can be enabled? Now, if you see in the front end, you can see there should be a few things which cannot be disabled. Okay. By default, if you want to enable, and later on you don't want anyone else to disable it. Okay. Anyone else to disable it. Then what you will do is you will set it to can be enabled or disabled. If you set it to yes, it can be enabled and disabled. If you set it to no, you need to do the program. And by default, if you want to enable, enabled by default, you need to set it to yes. If you set enabled by default to yes, it will be enabled by default. Now, whatever it is, we will call this as shopping management system. Now, what will happen is if I use this Amazon key here, okay, now I have a property called configuration key. If I use the key here, then if I enable this key, then only this object can be used by the module. If I disable this key, this object will be not available. That is the purpose of configuration. Okay. If you want to enable or disable a specific module, if you want to enable or disable a specific functionality based on the season, then we will use these configuration keys, and we will enable or disable these configuration keys based on the requirement. Okay. Now the next one is country region codes. See here, these country region codes are used rarely, I can say, and the purpose is if you want to define the code for a specific country, then we will use this country region codes. Okay, there's a specific table for this as well in Dynamics 365, and we will use the region code specific to them. Okay. Can we make a particular part of model enable? Yeah, that's what. In your particular part of model, Let's say you have some objects you want to enable or disable. For that, you need to define the configuration key, and then you need to enable and disable the configuration. That is how it works. Okay. Now, the next one is extends. The purpose of this extends property is to implement the inheritance with extended data types. Okay. So already we have seen this by using the city in the previous scenario. And if you want to extend the system EDT, then you can use this. If you want to extend your EDT with the system EDT, then you can use this extends property. Or if you want to extend the EDT you have created in your model as well, you can do that. That's possible. And form help. This is interesting property again. Let's say when for this EDT you want to get a lookup from a specific form. Okay, when you are using this EDT on a screen on a form, if you want to get a lookup from a specific form, then we will use this form help. Okay, for example, let's do one thing. We will see one example. So to see that example, what it is, let me take this country. Okay, and one second. I want to get the country EDT here. Address, country code, country region ID, open designer. Okay, it has a reference table there. And then extends Cisco. Now what I will do is I will go to this country, and then here I have the extends property. I will set it to address, country region ID. Address, country region ID. Done. Okay, this is what I am using. And now the next step would be model management, update model parameters. You can see the model name as directly here. So you need to select Amazon. Click on the next button. Here you need to select the model directly. Otherwise it will throw error. Next, finish. Okay, now we are done. Now what we will do is, whatever the fields that we have created, we will move it to the table and then we will see. Okay, and the remaining properties already you know the name. The reference table I will explain you. Okay, because it takes some time. I need to create a table and then I will add. Okay. Now what we will do is click on the add button, new item, and then you can see a data model here, a table. I will call this table as AMA address. So this address table, what is the purpose of this address table? We need to store the information of the city, street, country, zip code, district. To store this information, I am using this address table. Click on the. Okay. Now, if you go to the properties of the table, you will see a lot of properties. Don't worry, I will explain you these properties later on. Here, if you want to set, we can use the Amazon key here. Okay. We will see the properties later on because most of the properties will be similar. Voice is most disturbed today comparing to previous classes. Is it from the beginning?
Yes, yes.
Or in between? In between. Okay.
In between here.
Okay, I will purchase a new headset. Yeah, let's see. I will purchase some headset in Amazon today again. The Sennheiser. Let's see, because that would be good. Okay. Now you can see we have AMA address. And now, if you want to create new fields in a table, okay, whatever we need to do is either you can drag and drop the EDT to create a new field, that is point number one, or you can right click and create a new field and then attach EDT. Okay, so anyway it works. Now what I will do is I will select all the extended data types. I will drag and drop to the fields here. Now it has created all the files. Done. Now I will go to the street and then I will go to the district. I will go to the country. I will go to the city. I will go to the zip code. Okay. Now these are the 5 fields I have added to the table. Now, if you see the properties, appearance, alias for, group prompt, help text, label. Now we have 2 places. One is EDT and the table field. So in the table field, we found the label. In the EDT, we found the label. So when to define label at the table field level and when to define label at the EDT level. Okay. So to do this, now let's say the field is country. The field is country. Now you have 10 tables where you are using this extended data type. In all the 10 places, do you think the label should be country? Or in each place, the label should differ? The label should be different. What do you think?
Same, I
It
guess.
should be same everywhere. You're right. So if it should be same everywhere, then we will define the label at the EDT level. Okay. Now I want to tell you about one more entity called name. Okay. Called name. Now coming to this name, in one table you have used it as father name, and then you have mother name, and then you have name of the customer. Okay, which is nothing but a simple name. Now, what do you think? If I use this name EDT, does the label should be different for these 3, or label should be same? What do you think?
Same. We
The
have to
label should
change
be
the
same or
label.
different? Exactly. In each case, we need to change the label. Okay. So when you are doing this, here again you have 2 different options. The options are, first one. Okay. This is table 1. Okay. This is table 1. Here you have father name, mother name, and name. Okay. And this table you want to use in multiple purposes. Okay. Let's say here you also have entity name. You want to use this for multiple purposes. Now what will happen in this case? That same table 1, if you want to use it in a different fashion, in different forms, and in each form you want to have a different label, in each screen, if you want to have a different label, then we will define labels at the form field level. Form data source field. Okay, I will show you that when we go to the forms. Whereas in this case, for this table, for the same EDT, you need to define a different label. So where we will define? We will define at the table field level. At the field level, we will define the label because the same EDT is acting in different fashion in the table. One EDT, multiple forms, define label at the field level. One EDT, same everywhere, define label at the EDT. Okay, please remember this is very, very important. Based on this, you need to decide whether to define label at the EDT, whether to define the label at the table field, or whether to define the label at the form data source. Okay, done. Now I'm not adding any labels here because this will be unique across. The next thing is, now we have added few extended data types, and then I have added only one table. Now if I go to Solution Explorer and then to sync to true, if I rebuild, you will see there are a lot of best practice issues. We will resolve few best practice issues now. Okay, so we will see how to resolve them. Hey, we need to wait for the first time here because for the first time the sync will take long time. But in the meantime, we can do one thing. You can see best practices check started. So we will take this best practices and we will see this in the notepad. Okay. Now let me add a new page and let me call this and see here. These are the best practice issues that we got. So the first one is Amazon key.xml. You have defined a configuration key and you have hard coded the label. Okay, you have hard coded the label. And what is the purpose of this best practice error? We are saying that dynamic CX will work in n number of languages. If it should work in n number of languages, we should not hard code the value. Instead of that, we need to create a label and we need to add the label text in multiple languages. Okay, that is the best practice. So you can see we have got the best practice error. And remember, coming to these best practices, there are three different types: best practice error, best practice warning, best practice informative message. Okay, So remember, the best practice error or warning message or informative message, the count should be 0. If the count is 0, then the code will work perfectly. Okay. And now let's see the next error. This is also a label issue. This is also a label issue. This is also a label. Okay. The next one is the tables field is not a member of a field group. So what we need to do is we need to go to field group. Now here in the field group, you can see there are at least 2 groups. Sorry, there are a total of 5 groups, and you have to add the label or your field, the table field in at least 2 field groups. One is auto report and the second one is auto lookup. Whenever we generate a report, it should display some default fields in it. If you don't add any fields, then it should display some data. Now, to display the data, it will use auto report. I'm adding all the fields to the auto report group. And the second one is auto lookup. So when you're using this table, okay, as a reference in another table, what are the fields that should be displayed in the table? Okay, so that you can identify which record should be referenced to the particular row in the table. To do that, we will use auto lookup. Okay, so I will show you this auto lookup in detail when we go to the relations. I am adding street, district, city, zip code. I am not adding country here. I will take these 4 fields to the auto lookup. And similarly, if you want to use or if you want to create a new field group, we can create using the new group option. And then you can go to the properties. You can call this as, I will call this as overview. I will call this as overview. Okay. I'm hard coding the stuff, but we need to create the label. Please remember, this is very, very important. And I will take all these fields here into the overview. Done. It's done. This is how we are going to create a field group. Now it will not throw error relevant to the field group. Now, the next thing, if you come down, you can see title field not declared. Okay, this is the table property. Label not defined, label text. You can see 90% of the best practice errors are due to labels. Okay, 90% of the best practice errors are due to labels. Okay, so whenever you are working with a table or whenever you are working with any AOT object, the first point that we need to remember is we need to create labels. We need to create labels. Without creating labels, we should not hard code the information. If you hard code the information, then your application or your module is fixed only to one language. If you want your module to work with n number of languages, we need to define the label IDs. Okay, so this is about a table, and then how to create fields in it, and then the field properties, and I will discuss about them again tomorrow. I will explain you in detail what are the each field does. Okay, each field property does. We will see that in detail tomorrow. Okay, yeah, now it's your time. Please let me know if you have any queries, and don't worry, I'll change my headset today. I will purchase one new headset. Okay, I think that would be the best option. Okay, now it's your time. Please let me know if you have any queries.
Kumar. Hello.
What's the use of new group? See here. Here you can create any number of new groups. If you want to use this group in the screen, let's say you want to add 2 fields or 3 fields in one screen. You want to have some 4 or 5 fields in another screen. Then what we will do is, instead of adding each field to the form, okay, each field to the form, we will create a group, a field group, and then we will add this field group over. Okay. Next. Any other queries?
Yeah, can we modify this label file later on if we want to add other language to the label file?
For this one, yeah, you can do that.
Okay, that is
I'll
possible.
show you. Yeah, that's possible. You can do that. Okay. Any other queries? Okay, if there are no queries, I will end session for everyone. Thanks all for the session. Let's meet again tomorrow same time. Thank you all. Bye.